start a system, when we start a system, after that the time will be incremented at regular intervals, and the start time will be considered as the reference time for the various processes. And after that, we have seen the goals, service goals of real-time operating system. We have seen the services goal. The main goals are perfection and correctness. We have seen that, and we have seen the various services. Yeah. After that, we have seen the types of RTOS, that is real-time operating system. In terms of the time constraint, we were having 3 different types, that is hard real-time, soft real-time, and the firm real-time. And we have also discussed about the examples related to each of these types also. So this classification is based on how the time deadline the time deadline is met. If it is handled in a strict manner, it is called hard real time. If the missing of a deadline, if a missing of a time deadline is not having a big impact, but affecting the quality of the product, then it is firm real time. And if some sort of delays is accepted by the operating system, then it's called a soft real time. So we have seen examples for the 3 different types. So now we will see the processor running modes. The topic that we are going to see is processor running mode. That is, while we are using an operating system, so we are considering the case where we are using an operating system. So in that case, the processor in the system can run in 2 different modes. That is, while we are using an operating system, the processor can run in either 2 of the modes. One is the user mode, and the other is the supervisory mode. Remember, 2 operating modes are supported by the processor while we are using an operating system. One is the user mode, and the other is the supervisory mode. First of all, user mode. User process is permitted to run and use only a subset of functions and instructions in OS. That is, you can say that, I mean, if we are having, we will be having many functions and instructions within the operating system. Okay, we'll be having, operating system is nothing but it's actually a combination of functions, or it's like a software component itself. Operating system, it's not a physical device. It's just a software component itself, but that software is with respect to the system, or you can say it's a system software. Okay, operating system is not a hardware device or something like that. It's just a software component, but it's related to the system. It's not like the software that we create for a particular application. Word, Excel, create in the software or software. It's actually a software component which is particularly meant for the system that it works with. So in the case of user mode, user process is permitted to run and use only a subset of functions and instructions in the OS. That is, all the instructions and functions in the OS cannot be used in user mode. That is, you can say that user mode is somewhat like a restricted mode of operation. That is, you cannot have the access to entire functions and instructions in the OS. Okay, you will not be having the access on entire functions and instructions in the OS. You will be having only, you'll be using only a subset of functions and instructions in the OS. In other words, it's a restricted kind of mode. Okay, these are the 2 modes in which the processor works while using an operating system. Okay, so use of OS functions in the user mode is either by sending a message to the waiting process associated in the OS kernel space or by system call. It's nothing but if we need to use an OS function, then you will have to make a system call. That is, if we want to use some OS functions within the user program or in the user mode, we need to use system calls. That is, we need to call that operating system function. use OS Q create OS operating system mention codes instructions. We have seen several functions. So all such functions, we need to call the function from the operating system in order to make it work in the user mode. Then the use of hardware resources, including memory, is not permitted without operating system making the call to OS functions called system call. That is, the hardware resources, who will be allocating the hardware resource? Obviously, operating system has to allocate the hardware resources. So the use of hardware resources. Suppose you are using the application software called Word. Word എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു application software use ചെയ്യുക. At some points, you need the access of system hardware, right? നിങ്ങളിപ്പം വേർഡ് നിങ്ങൾ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് at some point you will require the access from your hard disk. ഇല്ലേ? എപ്പോഴും നിങ്ങൾ വേർഡ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് you will be opening a file, right? You will be performing like open a file. From where are you opening this file? Who is providing you with the file? You have opened the Word എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ application, you have opened that in your laptop or desktop, and now you need to open a file, right? Where is this file actually stored? എവിടെ ഈ ഫയൽ സ്റ്റോർഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ളത്? നിങ്ങൾ ഓപ്പൺ ചെയ്യുന്നത് എവിടെ നിന്നാണ്? Respond. Or else you can assume your case itself. You are uploading your answer sheets, right? When you are uploading, I mean, you are opening a particular application, say whether it is Linways or whatever be the application, and then you try to access the hardware unit. അല്ല, നിങ്ങളുടെ ഫോണിൽ സ്കാൻ ചെയ്ത ആ ഡോക്യുമെന്റ് കിടക്കുന്നത് മെമ്മറിയിലാണ്. You are trying to access that memory for uploading your document, right? So you need the access of memory, right? You need the access of your phone's memory. So who will be providing that access? The operating system will be providing that access for any other application. Which is the application at that time? Linways is your application, and you need access to your phone memory for uploading your document which you have already scanned there. Okay, in such case, the use of hardware resources. Here, the hardware resources can be any resource, like the memory or the processor itself is a hardware resource. So the use of hardware resources, including memory, is not permitted without OS making the call to OS functions called system call. So this access can be provided only by the operating system. That is, there should be some function or there should be some call to the operating system function. That is, operating system have to read this, or it have to provide the access to this memory. Clear or not? നിങ്ങൾ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന എക്സാമ്പിൾസ് തന്നെ you can understand that every time you work on some applications, or else you take the application of your Facebook. Suppose in the case of Facebook, you are updating your profile picture. So when you are updating your profile picture, Facebook is an application. Okay, it's an application software. So when you are trying to update your profile picture, you are trying to access the memory also. From where are you taking the picture actually? You are taking the image from your memory, from your device memory. So there you need an access of your device memory, right? So at that time you need the permission, or you need to make a call. Operating system function is there for providing access to the memory. There is a function in the operating system which provides us with the access to the memory. So that particular application will have to make a system call which provides us with the resource. Clear? Okay, so that's the concept. User mode is a restricted kind of a mode. That is, we are not having access to entire functions and instructions in the operating system. There will be certain privileged instructions or privileged functions that are exclusively operable only under the supervisory mode. Okay, when we are using an application, if we are having access to entire functions or entire instructions in the operating system, there is a chance that some of the data present in the operating system can get overwritten, right? Some of the data can be overwritten, so that the entire functionality will break. Operating system is not meant for a particular application software. Application software operating system. It's actually for the providing resources to various application software or various application softwares. So we cannot provide access. We cannot provide complete access to the operating system. So while we are working in the user mode, we are having a limited access to the operating system functions and instructions. And user function call, which is not a system call, is not permitted to read and write into the protected memory allotted to the OS functions, data, and stack and heap. That is, you will be having certain user functions, and there is actually a difference between user function and system call. System call is actually we are calling a function that is in the operating system. User function call is our regular function call. So by using a regular function call, you cannot read or write into the protected memory. Protected memory in the sense, you will be having your operating system in a particular memory space. So by just using a function call, you cannot access, that is, you cannot perform read or write operation in that protected memory space. Okay, that protected memory space is actually called kernel space. Kernel is actually the core part of the operating system. Kernel space. So that protected memory space is called kernel space. Hence, the execution of user function calls is slower than the execution of OS functions on system call due to need to spend time in first checking the access permission to the protected space. So whenever you make a function call, or regular function call invoke ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ, it will be checked, that is whether it has got the access permission to the protected space. So that checking time is there. Okay, but system call doesn't need that checking time. System call will be having the direct access to the protected memory space. So if you are using function calls, it will take some time because it will consume some time in checking whether it has got the access permission or not. And the second type of mode is supervisory mode. Here in this case, this mode, that is, it's also called the kernel mode. It will have the complete access of all the instructions and functions in the operating system. Okay, while in the supervisory mode, it can access all the functions and instructions of the operating system, and it will be having the access to the hardware resources and even the protected memory space. So since it is having the direct access, the time taken for its execution will be less. Okay, that is, it will be executing faster. That is, the system calls will be performing faster than the user function calls. So only a system call is permitted to read and write into the protected memory allotted to the OS function. That we have already seen. That is, user function call is not permitted to write or read into the protected memory allotted to the OS functions, whereas a system call is actually permitted to read and write into the protected memory space. The protected memory space it's completely allotted to the OS functions. So a user mode or a user function call cannot directly access the protected memory space, which is completely allotted to the OS functions. And that access can be done only in the kernel mode or supervisory mode. So these are the two different modes in which the processor works while we are using an operating system. So we have seen the three different types of operating system, real-time operating system in terms of the time constraint, hard, soft, and firm. And now we have seen the two modes in which the processor works while it is using an operating system. That is the user mode and the supervisory mode. In user mode, the processor will not be having the complete access of all the functions and instructions in the operating system. That is, it will be having only a limited access. In case of user mode, it will be having only a limited access, or you can say it's a restricted kind of a mode. Where when you have a complete access, it is called the supervisory mode. When the processor is having a complete access to the privileged functions and instructions in the protected mode, then we can say that's a kind of supervisory mode or kernel mode. And regarding the two calls, the execution time, system call will require less time for execution, whereas the user function call will take more time because it requires a check condition. It will be checking whether it has got the access to the protected memory space or not. Okay, so these are the two different modes. Is that clear? Now we are going to see the structure. Structure means how these different, we have mentioned different things, like different topics like hardware, then operating system, then the application software. So how these different different terms have been layered, how they have been structured. So here in this figure, you can actually see a top-down layer. Yeah, this is a top-down kind of a structure. That is, at top we'll be having the application software. Then exactly at the middle, somewhere around the middle, you will be having the operating system, and finally you will be having the hardware. We know that these three are the main components of any embedded system. Either embedded system, three components are hardware, software, and the operating system. But additionally, you'll be having some other terms also. That's it. So you will be having the application software and you will be having the hardware at last, and as a middle or operating system is actually in the middle between the application software and the hardware. So this is actually the structure. So now you will see the different terms that we use in the structure. Initially, we'll be having the application software, and any software that we work upon, let it be MS Word or Microsoft Word or Excel or whatever be the software. It's an application software. What is that doing? Executes as per the applications run on the given system hardware using interfaces and system software. So this application software will be accessing the hardware with the help of system software, right? Who will be helping these software? Are any application software access will be given by the system software or operating system. So application software executes as per the applications run on the given system hardware using interfaces and system software. Next is software application programming interface or API. This is actually acting as an interface between application software and system software. System software is the software related to the operating system. Okay. So we have the application software and application programming interface, which acts as application programming interface acts as an interface between the application software and the system software. Now the third component is system software other than the one provided at the operating system. Okay. Sometimes you will require some additional functionalities. When computer using you will be understanding that. You will be having an operating system that by default it will be having some drivers and all. Default drivers and operating system. Some additional softwares or additional device drivers have to be provided. One second. Yes. Okay. A certain certain softwares will be provided, certain device softwares will be provided by the operating system itself. But in addition to that, for example, some network drivers. Initially, the operating system installed in the you will not be having that function to use network. Network access. For that, you will be requiring certain other additional driver softwares and all. For example, multimedia device. So, you will be required to give them.
Audio full
Yes.
I
think there's. Audible. Is it audible right now? Hello. Cut down on Okay, fine. So I was actually mentioning about the structure. 3 different components are there for any kind of embedded system. You'll be having the application software, you'll be having the system software or operating system, and finally the hardware component. So initially you will have the application software, then API or application programming interface, which acts as an interface between the system software and application software. And then you will be having system software other than the one provided at the OS. That is, the operating system will not be providing us with the entire device drivers. Some additional device drivers have to be used. So that can be used. Then we have the next layer, that is operating system interface. This acts as an interface between OS and system software. So ഈ രണ്ടാമത്തെയും അതുപോലെ നാലാമത്തെയും ഈ രണ്ട് layers എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് they are actually the interfaces. The second layer is actually an interface between application software and system software. Then this layer, that is the fourth layer, is actually an interface between OS, that is operating system, and the system software. And then you have the sixth one, that is hardware operating system interface. That is the interface between hardware and operating system. So mainly you are having four different terms, that is application software, system software, operating system, and finally hardware unit. And in between these, all these, you will be having different interfaces. Application software, system software, then operating system, and finally hardware. And you will be having interfaces. This is API, that is application programming interface, which acts as an interface between application software and system software. Then you have OS interface, that is interface between operating system and system software. Then you have hardware OS interface, which acts as an interface between hardware and operating system. So this is how the structure of a real-time operating system is being arranged. This is a top-down structure arrangement. Next, we are going to deal with an important topic which is called kernel. Kernel is basically, it's the basic structural unit of the operating system. Kernel is the basic structural unit of the operating system. It can be in two different ways. That is kernel with file management and device management as part of the kernel. Kernel without file management and device management as part of the kernel. That is, you can have kernel in two types. That is either with file management and device management option. File management and device management that include kernel functionality. Include type of kernel. So these two are the different ways in which the units have been provided to us. So it can also be defined as the secured unit of an operating system that operates in the supervisory mode. So the functions, or this can be, this particular unit, that is kernel, which is a core part of the operating system, is working in the supervisory mode, or that this operates only in the supervisory mode, while the remaining part and application software operates in the user mode. So the kernel, that is which is the basic structural unit of operating system, it's the most secured unit of the operating system which operates in the supervisory mode. Okay, two major points. One is that kernel is the basic structural unit of the operating system. Second point is that it is a secure unit which operates in the supervisory mode. And then the two types, the kernel with file management and device management as part of the kernel, and kernel or kernel without file management and device management as part of the kernel. These terms we will discuss later. File management, device management. These are all, we will be dealing with that very soon. Then these are the services that have been offered by the kernel in an operating system. So ഇതിൽ പറയാൻ പോകുന്ന ടേംസ് ഒക്കെ നിങ്ങൾ നേരത്തെ കേട്ട് പരിചയമുള്ള ടേംസ് തന്നെയാണ്, ബട്ട് അതിന്റെ റെലവൻസ് എന്താണെന്നുള്ളത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇപ്പം മനസ്സിലാവും. So these are the different kernel services in an operating system. So what are the uses of this kernel? ഈ kernel എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ടേമിന്റെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അത് എന്താണ് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ് ഇത്രയും ഡീറ്റെയിൽ ആയിട്ട് ഇത്രയും കാര്യങ്ങൾ മെൻഷൻ ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴാണ് ഇതിന്റെ entire functionality ആവുന്നത്. That is, first one is process management. You know what a process is? An executable part of a program is actually called process. Okay, process management means that from its creation to deletion, how that process is being managed. Okay, how that process is being managed. That is one purpose or one service offered by the kernel. This creation to deletion will include its creation. Then you need to create the process. Then you need to activate that. Then it will be in the running state, or it will be in the blocking state. Then you will need to deactivate, and then you need to delete. So these are the different operations right from creation. Like process management is what all things are included. First, and this is actually a service for creating the process, activating the process. You can note it if you want. This process management, that is creation to deletion, will involve creation, that is process creation, process activation, then process running, then process, if it is required, process blocking, and then resumption. If it is blocked, then it has to be resumed, right? So process resumption and deactivation, and finally deletion. That is a sequence. First we will be creation of process, then activation of process, then running process. Then if you need, you can block the process for any other process. Where the process and access, you can block the process. Then you can resume the process. That is resumption, process resumption, then deactivation of the process, and finally deletion of the process. അതാണ് ഈ ക്രിയേഷൻ ടു ഡിലീഷനകത്തുള്ള സ്റ്റെപ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നതാണ്. ഇത്രയും കാര്യങ്ങളും മാനേജ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് കേർണൽ ഇൻ ദ ഓപ്പറേറ്റിംഗ് സിസ്റ്റം ആണ്. Right from creation to the deletion of process, it's actually a main service that is offered by the kernel. Then again, next term, that is process management. Again, it's process management, but it is processing the resource request. That is how the resources have been allocated. That is also a function of kernel. That is how the resources have been allocated to the different, you will be having plenty of processes, and how the resources have been allocated to these processes. That is coming as the second point. Then you will be having the memory management. Memory management, again, it includes, or it is including the allocation and deallocation. How the memory is been allocated. If you are allocating fixed memory blocks, or if you are allocating dynamically, that is during the time of execution, you are allocating. Memory allotting, whether you are allotting it at first, I mean, initially you are allotting it as such, fixed allot cheyano, allengil program, I mean, process run aayikkondirikkunna samayathana ningal allot cheyyunnathu. So aa reethiyil you will be managing the memory. Then process management scheduling. That is how the processes are being scheduling, in the sense what? ഈ പ്രോസസ്സിന്റെ അൾട്ടിമേറ്റ് റിസോഴ്സ് എന്താണ് ഈ പ്രോസസ്സിനൊക്കെ വേണ്ടത്? ഓൾ ദീസ് പ്രോസസ്സസ് വിൽ റിക്വയർ ദ ആക്സസ് ഓഫ് പ്രോസസർ, അല്ലെ? പ്രോസസർ ആക്സസ് ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഈ എല്ലാ പ്രോസസ്സിന്റെയും ഉദ്ദേശം. സോ ഹൗ ദിസ് ആക്സസ് ഈസ് ബീങ് പ്രൊവൈഡഡ് in priority, if you are providing it with priority basis, or whether it is a cyclic, whether you are providing that in a cyclic manner. Cyclic manner in the sense, suppose you are having 3 processes, P1, P2 and P3, and you have a processor. In cyclic scheduling, what you do is that at first P1 will be using the processor, then P2 will be using the processor, then P3 will be using the processor. Again, P1 will be using P2, P3. In that manner, it will be repeating. Okay, that is actually a cyclic scheduling. You can say that that's a kind of cyclic scheduling. So in other way, if it is being provided on the basis of priority, then it's called priority based scheduling. So such decisions, or such how the process have to be scheduled, that is also decided or done by the kernel. Okay, then the fifth point, that is process management, IPC, that we have seen in the last module completely. Process management, that is inter-process communication, how the processes communicate with each other. That is also, you see the all functions. If you recall, you can see that we were using OS, semaphore, semcreate, OS, queue, operating system, kernel providing the services. Okay, then input-output device management. Then interrupts control, that is by handling ISR mechanism. Then device management is there, and device drivers is there. But in device management, device includes both the physical devices as well as the virtual device. Okay, it is not just meaning the physical device like keypad or keyboard, mouse, anganalla കാര്യങ്ങൾ മാത്രമല്ല ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. This device management includes both physical as well as virtual devices. Virtual devices like pipes, sockets and all. And finally the device drivers. So if you are asked about the kernel services in our operating system, so ee parayna points illa detailed aayittulla explanation that I will give in your note. Note la allengil njan PPT la detailed explanation I will give you that. You can note these points at first, and you can note the points that I say also. In process management, these are the different functions or services that have been offered by kernel in an operating system. Starting from process management, which enables process creation up to process deletion. അതിനിടയ്ക്കുള്ള സ്റ്റേജ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു. Creation, activation, running, blocking, then resumption, deactivation, and deletion. So these many processes, all these processes are enabled by the kernel. Then processing resource request, how the resources are to be allocated. That decision is also taken by the kernel. Then memory management, it's memory allocation and deallocation. That is whether we are allocating the memory initially itself or whether we are allocating the memory during the runtime. Then process management scheduling, that is whether how we are managing the processes, whether we are taking a rule like cyclic scheduling or whether we are allocating the processor in a priority manner. So how we are scheduling the process, that is coming as part of process management. Then process management IPs, that is how the processes are communicating with each other. And you can mention all the things that we have learned in the previous module, that is including the signals, semaphores, message queues, mailboxes, pipe sockets, whatever it be. So all such functions are used for the inter-process communication and synchronization purpose. So that is also mentioned, that can be mentioned here. Then input-output management. Then interrupts control for handling the interrupts. Then device management, which includes both physical devices as well as the virtual devices. And finally, the device drivers for handling these devices. So these are the services that have been offered by kernel in the operating system. I think we'll show you a slide. I think that I will show later. And out of these functions, 3 are major functions, that is process management, memory management, and device management. These 3 terms have to be studied in detail. So we are going to start with the first thing, that is process management. So process management, initially we will start with process creation. First the process has to be created, then only we need to manage that process. Okay, so we'll start with process creation. At the reset of the processor in a computer system, an operating system is initialized first, enabling the use of OS functions, which includes function to create the process. So initially, when we reset the processor in a computer system, if you are resetting your processor, first initially certain processes have to be created. And that actually is done by the operating system. By enabling the use of some operating system functions, we will be creating an initial process. So at the reset of the processor, an operating system is initialized first, enabling the use of OS functions, which includes a function to create the processes. So initially, OS functions enabled for creating a process. Second is that using this OS process creation function, a process which can be called initial process is created. See, for example, if you are considering the case of your mobile phone, what should be the initial process? I mean, when you turn on and switch off your on, what should be the initial process? എന്തായിരിക്കണം നിങ്ങൾ എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഇനീഷ്യൽ പ്രോസസ് എന്തായിരിക്കും? ഇഫ് യു ആർ ടേണിംഗ് ഓഫ്, നിങ്ങൾ സ്വിച്ച് ഓഫ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ ഓൺ ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് വാട്ട് ഷുഡ് ബി ദി ഇനീഷ്യൽ പ്രോസസ്? എന്തായിരിക്കണം? വാട്ട് ഷുഡ് ബി ദി ഇനീഷ്യൽ പ്രോസസ്? നിങ്ങളുടെ മൊബൈൽ നിങ്ങൾ ആദ്യം എന്താ വേണ്ടത്? ടേൺ ഓൺ ആവുന്ന സമയത്ത് നിങ്ങൾ എന്താണ് എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്? വിച്ച് പ്രോസസ് ഷുഡ് റൺ അറ്റ് ഫസ്റ്റ്? ജസീം ഉണ്ടോ? ജസീം is not present. അശ്വിൻ, ഓഡിബിൾ അല്ലേ? യെസ്, correct. സ്ക്രീൻ LED ലൈറ്റ് അപ്പ് ചെയ്യും, കറക്റ്റ് ആണ്. So that should be the first process, right? While we are turning on the mobile phone initially, that is actually what we mean by the reset of the processor in a computer system or mobile system, whatever it be. An OS is initialized first, enabling the use of certain OS functions, which includes the function to create process. നമ്മൾ ടേൺ ഓൺ ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് OS ആദ്യം ഇനീഷ്യലൈസ്ഡ് ആകും. After that, it will provide us with a function for creating a process. Process create ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഫംഗ്ഷനും enabled ആകും. So first step is നമ്മൾ processor reset ചെയ്തു. Next what happens is OS is initialized. Next what happens is enables the use of create functions. Process create ചെയ്യാനുള്ള functions enabled ആകും. And by using this process creation function, an initial process will be created. So in the case of mobile phone, you can say that the display process, the OS function will initially create the display process. Our display process is phone on cheyumbum you will be seeing the time, batteries, and your signal, how your signal is there, then all your profiles, messages, call status and all. So all these things will be displayed at first when you are opening your, or when you are switching on your mobile. So that can be completely considered as a display process. So that is actually the first process which is initialized or created when you are turning on your mobile. You switch on ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് the initial process is display process. അതിന്റെ സബ് പ്രോസസ്, അതിൽ വരുന്ന പ്രോസസ് ഇനീഷ്യലി ഡിസ്പ്ലേ പ്രോസസ് ആയിരിക്കും. അതിനകത്ത് വരുന്ന പ്രോസസ്സസ് ആണ്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ചൈൽഡ് പ്രോസസ്സസ് ആണ് എന്തൊക്കെ? ടു ഡിസ്പ്ലേ ടൈം, ടു ഡിസ്പ്ലേ യുവർ ബാറ്ററി സിഗ്നൽ, ടു ഡിസ്പ്ലേ യുവർ നിങ്ങളുടെ സിഗ്നൽ എന്തുമാത്രം ഉണ്ടെന്നുള്ളത് കാണിക്കുക, ടു ഡിസ്പ്ലേ യുവർ പ്രൊഫൈൽ. ഓൾ സച്ച് തിങ്സ് വിൽ ബി കമ്മിങ് അണ്ടർ ദിസ് ഡിസ്പ്ലേ പ്രോസസ്. സോ ഇനീഷ്യൽ പ്രോസസ് വിൽ ബി ദ ഡിസ്പ്ലേ പ്രോസസ്. Okay, then OS started that calls the initial process to run. The initial process will be run. So if you are taking the example of mobile phone, the display process will be run. Then when the initial process runs, it creates subsequent processes. Right? It will create subsequent processes in the sense, ഈ ഡിസ്പ്ലേ പ്രോസസ്സിന് അകത്ത് വരേണ്ട കുറച്ച് കാര്യങ്ങളുണ്ട്. എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് നിങ്ങൾ ഡിസ്പ്ലേ ചെയ്യേണ്ടതെന്നുള്ളത്, അല്ലെ? You will be requiring time to be displayed. You will be requiring date to be displayed. You will be requiring your battery range to be, all these things to be displayed. So other sub processes ആയിട്ട് വരും. Okay, thanks. We will deal with this in the next class. Mark your attendance. Thank you.